Picture this. You ask your girlfriend what's wrong. She takes a deep breath, looks you dead in the eye, and says, "I'm fine." Her voice is calm, almost too calm, the kind of calm that makes you wonder if you should call the police or your mother. So you shrug it off, because technically she said she's fine. And 5 minutes later you hear it. Slam! The microwave door shuts like it just insulted her entire bloodline. Now you're standing there realizing you've been recruited into an invisible war zone. Gentlemen, welcome to the Cold War. This is the unspoken battlefield of relationships. Nothing is blown up, but everything is tense. There are no official weapons, but the arsenal is fully stocked with size, silence, and sharp glares that could slice through steel. And if you're new to this terrain, let me warn you, the first mistake most men make is assuming her words mean exactly what she said. Spoiler alert, they don't. When she says, "I'm fine," it doesn't mean she's fine. It doesn't even mean she's okay. It usually means she's upset, frustrated, or disappointed, but she doesn't feel like explaining it yet. Sometimes it's because she wants you to figure it out without her spelling it out. Other times it's because she's testing whether you're paying attention to her feelings or just coasting along clueless. Here's the dangerous part. Silence in this Cold War isn't peace. It's a strategy. It's a buildup. Like two nations staring each other down, waiting to see who blinks first, the quiet moments are the most dangerous. Because once the microwave, cabinet, or car door starts absorbing her anger, you're already in trouble. So what's really happening here?
She's communicating, but not with words. She's speaking through tone, through body language, through the pause before she answers you. And this, gentlemen, is the secret most of us miss. Relationships aren't just about what's said. They're about what's meant. Think of it like a movie script. The line might say, "I'm fine," but the actress's job is to deliver that line with layers. Irritation, disappointment, maybe even a hint of hurt. The script doesn't tell you everything. You've got to read the performance. And your girlfriend? She's not handing you the raw data. She's giving you a performance. If you only read the words, you're missing the story. Now, why does this matter? Because every Cold War moment is actually a crossroads. You can either dismiss her words at face value, go back to watching sports, and prepare for World War III when she finally unloads, or you can take the time to step in, disarm the tension, and prove that you're tuned in to her emotions. That choice, to lean in instead of stepping back, is what separates the men who survive relationships from the men who self-destruct in them. And the truth is, most women don't want to fight. They don't want the Cold War. They want to be understood, to be heard, and to know you're emotionally present. The slammed microwave door isn't about food. It's about connection. So here's the hook. If you can learn to translate "I'm fine" into what she really means, you won't just survive the Cold War, you'll prevent it altogether. Here's what you need to understand. When a woman says "I'm fine," it's never fine. In fact, it's the verbal equivalent of walking into a jungle at night, hearing the bushes rustle, and convincing yourself it's just the wind right before a tiger leaps at you. See, "I'm fine" isn't a statement. It's a riddle wrapped in mystery, coded in emotional hieroglyphs. It's the kind of phrase that sounds harmless, but has the explosive potential of a hidden landmine. One wrong step and boom! Your peaceful evening turns into a 3-hour interrogation about why you don't care enough. Now, don't get me wrong, women are masters of communication. They can pack paragraphs of meaning into a single look, a raised eyebrow, or the dramatic slam of a cabinet door. Men, on the other hand, we're like cavemen discovering fire. Simple, direct, and always confused why smoke keeps coming out. The forbidden truth is this: I'm fine is never about being fine. It's ancient female code language, right up there with hieroglyphs, Morse code, and the Matrix. It doesn't mean everything is okay. It means something is wrong, and you'd better figure it out without me saying it directly. And here's the kicker. 97% of men don't survive decoding it. They either panic, retreat, or make the fatal mistake of taking it literally. You've probably seen this play out. She says, "I'm fine." You think, "Oh good, she's fine." Then you return to watching the game, and suddenly, silence. Deadly silence. That's when you realize you've just walked into an emotional ambush. But there's that other 3%, the ones who don't just survive, but thrive. Who are they? Comedians. Why? Because when confronted with the impossible puzzle of "I'm fine," they don't try to solve it logically. They treat it like what it really is, a dramatic performance waiting for a punchline. Again, picture this. She says, "I'm fine." A regular guy goes quiet, looks nervous, and fumbles his words. But a comedian, he tilts his head, smirks, and replies, "You're fine? Uh-oh, should I start writing my will now or wait till after dinner?" Suddenly she's laughing, the tension breaks, and he lives to see another day. That's the forbidden truth men don't want to admit. Sometimes the only way to decode the female mind is not with logic, but with humor. Because humor isn't just jokes, it's disarming, it's connection. It's the one tool that can take "I'm fine" from a death sentence to a shared laugh.
So, gentlemen, take notes. When she says, "I'm fine," don't hear "fine." Hear, "I'm upset, but I don't want to spell it out yet." And instead of freezing like a deer in headlights, lean in, crack a smile, and remember, if you can make her laugh, you've just dodged the bullet. The truth is forbidden not because you can't know it, but because once you do, you'll never hear "I'm fine" the same way again. When she says "I'm fine," she's testing your emotional radar system. Does he notice? Does he care? Or will he just nod and go back to Call of Duty? Spoiler, if you say, "Cool, glad you're fine," you might as well start Googling apartments. This, gentlemen, is not casual dialogue. It's a psychological trap, handcrafted with precision, designed to test your awareness, empathy, and survival instincts. You may think it's just a sentence, two tiny words strung together, but in reality, it's a minefield. One wrong step, and boom, your entire relationship status changes faster than your Wi-Fi disconnecting during a Netflix binge. When she says "I'm fine," it isn't about what she's saying, it's about what she's not saying. It's the pause, the tone, the icy stare that follows. It's a silent exam you didn't sign up for, but somehow you're already failing. She's watching to see if you'll pick up on the storm signals, the crossed arms, the sharp exhale, the way she's suddenly treating the TV remote like it owes her money. This is the moment your emotional radar system is activated, and the question is, do you even have one? Some men are blessed with hypersensitive sensors. They pick up every micro-expression, every subtle shift in mood. Others, well, let's just say they couldn't detect an earthquake happening right under their feet. And that, my friend, is why many boyfriends end up blindsided. You see, "I'm fine" isn't meant to be taken literally. It's bait. She's dangling it in front of you to see if you'll investigate further. Will you lean in and ask, "Are you sure? Because it doesn't seem like you're fine." Or will you take the easy road and retreat to the safe glow of your Xbox screen? One shows care, the other shows negligence, and in her eyes, negligence is betrayal. Let's be clear, she doesn't want you to fix everything. She wants you to notice, to validate, to prove that you're tuned in to her emotional frequency. Because if you miss this test, if you brush it off with a casual, "Cool, glad you're fine," congratulations, you've just unlocked the fastest route to a 3-day silent treatment. Think of it like this. When she says, "I'm fine," it's not the end of the conversation. It's the beginning of a puzzle. And your ability to solve it determines whether your evening ends with Netflix and chill, or Netflix and a cold shoulder that could freeze Antarctica. So the next time those words appear, don't panic, don't retreat, and for heaven's sake, don't take them literally. Instead, treat it like the coded message it is. Ask, listen, and prove that your radar system works. Because in the battlefield of relationships, ignoring the signal isn't just careless, it's catastrophic. And trust me, no video game respawn can save you from that. Meet Brad. Brad hears, "I'm fine," and takes it literally. 2 hours later, Brad is outside in the rain holding a suitcase, wondering why she blocked him on Spotify. Now meet Jason. Jason hears, "I'm fine," and says, "You're definitely not fine. Talk to me, or at least stop beating the fridge like it owes you money." Jason lives to see another day. Gentlemen, this is not just a story. This is a survival documentary. The difference between Brad and Jason is the difference between a man who misreads a stop sign and drives into oncoming traffic and a man who brakes just in time to save his life. Let's start with Brad. Poor, innocent Brad. When his girlfriend said, "I'm fine," he thought she was actually fine. Rookie mistake. He smiled, grabbed his Xbox controller, and assumed the storm had passed. But in reality, the storm had just entered Category 5. By the time he noticed the dark clouds gathering, it was too late. She had packed the emotional nuke, pressed launch, and now Brad was the fallout victim. Suitcase in one hand, dignity in the other, standing in the rain like a background character in a breakup montage. Now shift the camera to Jason. Jason isn't smarter, stronger, or richer than Brad. Jason just read the signs. He heard, "I'm fine," and instead of retreating, he leaned in. He knew this wasn't about words, it was about emotions. So when his girlfriend started slamming cabinet doors like a percussionist in a heavy metal band, Jason didn't ignore it. He addressed it with a touch of humor and empathy. "Talk to me, or at least stop beating the fridge like it owes you money." That line right there, that's emotional judo. He acknowledged the tension, broke the ice with humor, and opened the door for real communication.
The lesson? Relationships are not about winning arguments. They're about passing tests. Every "I'm fine" is an exam. And trust me, failing means repeating the course until you get it right. Brad failed and ended up homeless in the rain. Jason passed with a B+, lived to fight another day, and probably even got dinner that night. Think of it like this. When your girlfriend says, "I'm fine," it's not a statement. It's a question dressed in camouflage. The hidden question is, do you care enough to notice that I'm not fine? If you miss it, you're Brad. If you catch it, you're Jason. So men, tattoo this on your brain. "I'm fine" is not a destination. It's a detour sign, pointing you toward the real conversation that needs to happen. Handle it right, and you'll strengthen the bond. Handle it wrong, and you'll end up like Brad, learning the hard way that Spotify playlists aren't the only thing that can be blocked. Here's the twist. Women say, "I'm fine," because they don't want to hand over their emotional secrets too easily. It's not laziness. It's not that they don't have words. It's strategy. Pure psychological strategy. Think about it. If emotions were currency, then "I'm fine" is the vault door slamming shut. See, the female brain operates with an instinctive understanding of the scarcity principle. The idea that something becomes more valuable the harder it is to get. Marketers use it all the time. Limited edition. Only 2 left in stock. Sale ends tonight. And women? They've been running this play long before Amazon ever existed. When she says, "I'm fine," she isn't actually fine. She's creating emotional scarcity. By not handing you the full story immediately, she increases the value of her feelings. Suddenly, you're not just a boyfriend or husband. You're an emotional archaeologist, digging for clues, searching for hidden treasures, desperate not to miss the discovery of the century. It's like Netflix dropping a cliffhanger at the end of every episode. They know you'll stay up until 3 a.m., exhausted, binge-watching season after season just to find out what happens. Women use "I'm fine" in the exact same way. That pause, that mystery, that unspoken tension. It's the cliffhanger that keeps the relationship alive, if you can handle the suspense. But here's the catch. Just like Netflix, they also know some viewers don't have the stamina. Not every man can survive the emotional binge watch. If you play it wrong, if you shrug and think the episode ended, you'll find yourself canceled faster than a bad sitcom. Think of Brad, our poor, clueless case study from the last chapter. Brad took "I'm fine" at face value, and 2 hours later, he was in the rain, evicted from his own love life. Why? Because he didn't understand the scarcity game. He didn't realize that the unspoken words were the real plot. Now, Jason, our survivor, understood scarcity. He didn't accept the "I'm fine" at surface level. Instead, he treated it like a puzzle box. He leaned in, showed interest, and made her feel like her emotional world was worth unlocking. In doing so, he passed the test. Jason binged responsibly. Gentlemen, here's the forbidden truth. Scarcity creates value. If women gave away their emotions instantly, no hesitation, no drama, no mystery, most men wouldn't chase them. The emotional game would collapse. "I'm fine" is less about hiding and more about filtering. It separates the casual watchers from the loyal subscribers. So the next time you hear it, don't panic, don't roll your eyes, and definitely don't say, "Okay, glad you're fine." Instead, see it for what it is, an invitation, the beginning of Season 2, a test of whether you're invested enough to dig deeper. Because in the end, relationships aren't about decoding every word. They're about showing that you care enough to keep watching, cliffhangers and all. Picture this. You're sitting on the couch, scrolling through your phone, and she walks in with that look. You know the one. Eyebrows slightly raised, lips pressed tighter than your boss on payday. She exhales sharply and mutters, "I'm fine." Now you have 2 options. Option 1, the wrong move. You nod, smile, and say, "Cool, babe, glad you're fine." You think you've just defused the bomb, but in reality, you've pressed the big red button. Cue Titanic theme music, because, my friend, the ship is going down. She's not fine, and now she's also furious that you believed her. You didn't investigate. You didn't care enough to dig deeper. At this point, you might as well be drafting your breakup playlist on Spotify. And don't be surprised if the next hour feels like a courtroom drama where you're the clueless defendant and her evidence log goes back to something you did in 2019. Saying "cool, babe" when she's clearly steaming is like bringing a water pistol to a forest fire. Cute, but tragically useless. Option 2, the right move. Instead of shrugging it off, you lean in, literally and emotionally. You say, "All right, what's wrong?"
And don't say nothing because the cat's hiding under the bed and you just burned water. Notice the difference? First, you're showing awareness. You're not blind to the smoke signals. Second, you're using humor. It softens the tension without dismissing her feelings. You're saying, I see you're upset, I care, and I'm here for it. That's the trifecta of survival. Because here's the thing. Women don't just want you to hear the words they say. They want you to decode the emotions behind them. I'm fine isn't about the words. It's about the subtext. When you crack that code, you prove you're not just present in the room, you're present in the relationship. Let's put it like this. If relationships were poker, I'm fine would be her poker face. The wrong move is folding your cards and leaving the table. The right move is calling her bluff gently and asking what hand she's really holding. Now, this doesn't mean you launch an interrogation. You're not a detective and she's not a suspect. You don't shine a flashlight in her face demanding, "Where were you on the night of the 12th?" No. The right move is calm curiosity mixed with empathy. Think less CSI and more Ted Lasso. Gentlemen, the line between the wrong move and the right move is razor thin. One careless shrug and you're doomed. One thoughtful question and you're a hero. The wrong move makes her feel unheard. The right move makes her feel understood. And in the world of relationships, that's the difference between the Titanic sinking and the love boat sailing. So the next time you hear those two chilling words, don't panic. Just remember, wrong move equals drama. Right move equals survival. Choose wisely. Think about it. When a guy says, "I'm fine," the translation is almost boringly simple. It usually means he stubbed his toe, lost a fantasy football bet, or dropped his last slice of pizza face down on the carpet. That's it. End of story. There's no hidden meaning, no layers to peel back, no emotional code to decipher. A man's "I'm fine" is a straight line. But when a woman says "I'm fine," that, my friend, is a whole different ballgame. That phrase is not a straight line. It's a maze. It's a puzzle wrapped in a mystery, sprinkled with sarcasm, and topped with a smile that says, "You should probably start running." Here's the contrast. A man's fine is final. A woman's fine is just the beginning. Let's break it down. When a woman says, "I'm fine," it could mean you forgot something important, like her birthday, your anniversary, or the simple fact that she hates pickles and yet you still ordered them on her burger. To you, it's small. To her, it's a courtroom case waiting for evidence. And guess what? She's already gathered the receipts. Or maybe it's not about forgetting. Maybe it's because you said something dumb. And let's be honest, you probably did. Something like, "Relax, it's not a big deal." Or the classic, "My mom doesn't do it that way." Ooh. In that moment, "I'm fine" is not fine. It's a silent alarm. You might not hear it, but the countdown is already started.
So, if you've enjoyed this lesson in humor, wisdom, and the art of paying attention, imagine what you'll gain by living with the clarity of Stoic principles and philosophy every single day of the week. At Stoic Citadel, we dive deeper into timeless philosophy, giving you practical tools to stay strong, think clearly, and live with purpose. Don't just scroll by. Join the Citadel. Subscribe now, turn on notifications, and become part of a community that values resilience, reason, and growth. All right, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.